Intend to offend, we will offend. And if you have a delicate sensibility, click the X button in the corner, or if you're on a Mac, the red button in the left corner. Monty, welcome to the show of offending people.
Well, it never happened, and I make shit up. For the last couple of weeks, everyone that has asked for a reading, apparently you're all from Scotland, from Purley in Scotland. You all live the same lives. It's very metaphysical, because we're all one. And I can't read the Akashic records. I didn't even have a card.
Welcome to another adventure into comedy. We are here to offend you at every level potentially possible. If you have a stick up your ass so far it's coming out of your tongue, this is not the show for you. I am joined by my intrepid comedical co-host, Monty Dean.
Happy Beltane, everyone. I live in the Southern Hemisphere. You'll just have to deal with that.
Happy wrap a string around a pulse day.
Yep, that's right, yeah. Hey, Australia, we celebrate Christmas at the summer solstice. Figure that one out.
Yes, and I hear now Melbourne is in pure cheer and running around getting drunk as the lockdown has supposedly ended.
Yes, Stockholm syndrome has kicked in, and the prisoners are allowed out. They're free-range prisoners now. We're out of solitary, so
yes,
people are having fun.
Free-range prisoners, the whole new way to see humanity.
Yeah, I've realized that my life hasn't changed at all. Crap. So
everyone, this is one of our comedy shows. We're going to be doing 2 in a row. Today is going to be three. Well, we did last Friday.
Yeah.
Yes, which is the second one. So we are going to be doing pre-election predictions. And then this coming Tuesday, we're going to be seeing what might happen during the election. And then next Friday, we're going to do post-mortem. We don't know what will happen, but we have a big, long list of potential things that could happen. So we are looking for people that are truly inspired. And what we are going to do is talk about this document Monty and I created that has all the pre-election potential predictions up there. And then we're going to be taking suggestions for people that are in the chat room, having people call in. We might be joined by a special secretive guest from the great wonders of the internet. We shall see if they arrive shortly. But until that moment, Mr. Monty Dean, what would you like to start with when it comes to the 2020 elections?
Well, Trump wins by a landslide. Let's start there.
No. Well, landslide. He wins the popular election. He wins the Electoral College. And if that does happen, the Democratic Party will fall apart.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that just for the reason to watch all these SJW blue checkmarks celebrities to have their heads explode.
Well, I would think more than heads would explode. I think their heads and their asses would explode simultaneously.
Oh, yeah. Just someone's actually done a compilation of all these people. Like someone was so upset they made a video about Ruth Gator Ginsburg, wherever GBR, that Ginsburg person. She died, and she was extremely upset. How dare you die before the election? Like, this is the mentality. Like, yeah. Because in the 3D world, these things are planned. Maybe in the spiritual world, they kind of are, but like, no. Well, it's the ridiculousness of all.
Well, then there's the opposite. Biden wins by a landslide.
Yeah.
What happens to the right? Well, do their heads and asses explode? Or do
No,
they
I
all,
think
do they all become militia members with guns?
yeah, they'll just quickly jump to voter fraud because the Democrats have done that for a while now. Where I remember it's a meme or tweet on social media where my dad has been a Republican voter all his life, and they just go through everything. He was a part of a member. He donated. And this election, he is going to vote Democrat. He did die 3 years ago, but he's going to be. It's the first time he's voting Democrat. Even The Simpsons have done an episode about this, where Sideshow Bob, where at least it goes, no, Snowball 2 voted for Sideshow Bob. Yeah. This time it's personal.
Yes, thank you, Melinda. If the Republicans lose, if the Biden wins by a landslide, their boobs will fart. Okay.
Yeah.
And for people want to know the reference, go listen to the last comedy show.
Exactly.
You will understand what boob farts are. So those are the two extreme potentialities. And then there's the next journey. Let me pop open the little document I have here. Trump loses the popular vote but wins the Electoral College.
Which kind of happened last time.
Yes. Well, Hillary won the popular and he won the electoral. Exactly.
Yeah. Which I do find that funny. Even Hillary, even with the voter fraud, still lost. So yeah, I think reality was against her at that point. Oh, and also I can't remember where did we put in Civil War? Because like if it's landslide on either side, there's prediction of a civil war, and I don't from what I've seen from the left, I think if the left start a civil war, it'll be over in an afternoon.
No. If the left start a civil war, it's going to be like extreme long-term trolling revenge.
Yeah, but it'd be guerrilla. It won't be a classic civil war because the right have all the guns and
it'll be doxing and social media warfare.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. I mean, all those Antifa guys where like I've got a flamethrower and I'm going to smash the patriarchy. Then they get arrested in Portland and they start crying. Instantly, they get arrested.
Well, there's been a number of people on the right side that have had the same thing happen. They got arrested and they started crying too. Come on, you can't just choose one. Okay?
No, I'm not choosing one. I'm pointing out he was a leader anyway.
Yes, but but he's not the only one that cried when they got arrested.
No.
Right?
No. But the left have a lot of people drinking soy and look like matchsticks, and people on the right seem to do gym stuff.
You got a point there. They like to get out there and use ATVs, motorcycles, and their guns, versus versus yoga, Pilates, and fucking
And the left seem to have all the same haircut. Like you've seen those mug shots of everyone being arrested. It's like, is this like variations of a theme where they have this is pink, this is red, this is blue.
Right, all the weak vegans that need some fucking protein.
It's like it's very hard to play Guess Who nowadays because you got to go through the 57 genders. Are you a man? No. Are you a woman? No. Are you this? Are you this? Are you this?
Okay.
So if you remember the Guess Who show.
So to touch on the what we just talked is Trump wins the Electoral College, which signals corporate America is giving the double middle finger to the Democratic Party. Okay. And that means economic kleptocracy will continue to happen. Stock market will gain all new heights and poor people will be discovering new levels of poorness.
Yeah, it would kick the economic can down the road.
Yes, absolutely. Kick it down on the road another 4 years. So that when who's going to run after Trump, I believe it'll be Ivanka and Kirshner.
Well, I did see an article yesterday about age limits for being president. You have to be over 35.
Yep.
When you're at inauguration gay. Anyway, it's Mercury. That's why my speaking badly type me. But AOC could be the next. Could be president. Like, no, she's too dumb, or maybe she's too dumb to become president.
If you look at previous American presidents, going back to like the presidents in the 1900s and the late 1800s, there were some really dumb ones there. All right.
Yeah.
Much more dumber than AOC. Okay. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one. Trump wins popular vote but loses the Electoral College. This would be the biggest smack in the Republican face if he wins the popular vote but loses the Electoral College. That's corporate klepto America saying double middle finger to Trump, and we would rather embrace COVID and deal with the deep state than your ass.
Yeah. And that would cause ripples because from perception or optics or whatever the political jargon is, there's hardly any Biden signs. There's all these Trump signs, and you see where Trump has a rally and it's like Led Zeppelin playing in 1973. It's just people everywhere.
And then where I'm at, it's different. It's far more Biden signs than Trump signs, and we're in Trump territory.
Mm-hmm. Can I finish now?
No.
And then you have it's going to be a very 10 minutes in, and then there's a stoush. And then, well, I'm not saying it's across the board, but that's the first I've heard of it, so that's interesting. And then you see a Biden rally where it's 12 people in circles. It doesn't seem to be. Obviously there would be somebody that wants Biden. It's not. I mean, Bernie probably has more supporters than Biden. There isn't much enthusiasm for Biden, apart from watching what he says and taking the piss out of him, because it's like, he said what now?
Right.
What? Like, the clone's malfunctioning again, people.
Okay. And then there's the next thing. Sorry, brain fart been popping in my document. That if Trump loses everything and Biden landslide wins. Now, the last time we had a super landslide is when Reagan was elected over Dukakis in the 1984 election. It was the last time we had a superior major landslide like that. And it was a completely unexpected landslide. Now, if Biden does the double, wins popular vote, I think Trump would blow up in office. And we would like people to take, what's your predictions here? We've talked about a few of these things. So start right now, if Trump wins landslide, Electoral College, and popular vote, what do you think the Democrats are going to do? Vice versa. If Biden wins landslide, Electoral College, popular vote, what's Trump going to do?
Yeah, because, the Democrats are projecting that Trump won't leave office, and he'll need to be arrested and dragged out.
Well, he already said he would leave office.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying this is what the Democrats are projecting. You know how they project a lot, like, we have to impeach Biden, Trump because of what Biden did type thing. The Democrats are very, it's the art of war. You accuse your enemy of what you've done.
Well, that's the art of the deal. Come on.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. But, it's interesting, like, watching the debates and the campaign is that, the conventions, the Republicans at least were saying, we're for America and freedom. And, there was an element of optimism. And then with the Democrats, it was like, America's shit. And it's going to be a dark wind. And it was a negative sort of presentation. Because I watched both and I'm like, ugh. At least, I mean, true, they're both lying and they're full of shit, but at least the Republicans put on a better show and had the illusion of happiness and positivity.
Yes, and what Melinda is saying, winter is coming. Literally, winter is coming.
Yeah. And every year.
We've seen a lot of people out there, talking in the chat room here. And what we want to say is we're here to take the piss out of both sides. No one side more than the other, even though Monty and I may have a little bias and slants here and there, but it's really a comical factor here. We all know, guess what? This show, our audience is going to go through the roof after the election, no matter who wins. Okay? We're ready. So all you people listening, make sure you post on your social media engines post-election for all those broken-hearted. Come to Adventures into Reality, Adventures into Comedy. Let us help you break your depression.
Yeah. Because from my perspective, it's stop Biden getting in because you make it worse. It's that classic which set of evil do you want? Because the whole system's completely corrupt, as you've talked about for over a decade. That the system where you give consent when you vote, there's sacred geometry, and I've recently finished watching all of Deadwood, and it's fascinating that in 120 years we really haven't evolved that much. We kind of devolved through education and everything else like that. At least, back then there was a lot of swearing, but also they were polite and used big words. Right. Now it's kind of the opposite.
So just we take a quick civil session. People or somebody in the chat room saying with special election, there's no actual setup for federal special elections. States there are. If there's a continuity of government issue, the Speaker of the House becomes president until the courts decide. So that's the actual civics law that we have to understand here. Unless Congress and Senate pass a special bill for a special election, the Constitution falls to the Speaker of the House, which would mean Nancy Pelosi would be the next president of the United States, and the Senate head of the Senate would be the Republican, would be the vice president.
Yes, Nancy Pelosi, a very upstanding, sane, calm person. I'm kidding.
Right. And another civics lesson here. If the states are, let's say 1 or 2 or 3 states are in contested elections, it does not go to the Supreme Court. It goes to the state Supreme Court. It goes to the state local court, and then the state Supreme Court. So it would that 79 days in between who's going to things, it would be at the state court level, which then would shoot it up to the next level, and then the state Supreme Court will determine where those electoral votes go. Okay?
Didn't that happen that sorry to interrupt 2000 with Al Gore in Florida?
Yes, but he chose. But instead of to kick it up to the United States Supreme Court to stop it at the state level, he said, I'm not going to take the court the next step.
Yeah.
But it's still not a confirmed election, even if the state Supreme Court says this person gets the votes, because it's the head of the Congress that stamps the approved final vote that it's an acceptable vote, which still falls on to Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, and is she up for re-election?
Yes, but she's pretty much going to win.
Yeah, well, yeah. It was really weird when people are complaining about, Trump killed 200,000 people, like a bit of a stretch, but he was bringing in the travel ban at the same time. Nancy Pelosi's in Chinatown in San Francisco going, no, everyone come down, it's great. And like, the virus is from China. And then you got the whole thing about, oh, it's not a China virus, that's racist. Well, China is a nation of Asia, and I mean, you had swine flu, but it should be called bat flu, or people will call it kung flu. But the thing is,
bat soup flu.
Yeah, and isn't it weird that most of this stuff does come out of China? It's like Prime Creator playing funny buggers, or it's like, or is it planned?
Yes, cunt foo. Thank you, Melinda. Hold on, that's cunt with a K, not cunt with a C.
Yes, it's a positive reference to fantastic shaman witches from 3,000 years ago.
Right. Yeah. Now, again, everyone, this is not a serious political talk. So we see people really starting to flip out. We get wired up in the chat room. It's okay. It's okay. Take the stick out of your ass. Okay.
Yeah. As Andrew's been saying for a long time, we'll still be here. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
Where, it's not 2012 all over again. Or it is 2012 all over again, where nothing will happen.
Exactly. So I'm going to move on to the next one. There is no clear winner. No one reaches 270 electoral votes. There's a very high voter turnout, but it's all a close call. So there's no clear electoral winner and no clear popular vote winner, which is just as possible as any of the other ones we've talked about.
Yeah. Well, there's been reports of ballots ending up in dumpsters, or people getting 3 or 4 ballots in the mail, and people dying. And
that's because they've totally unfunded the entire election system, but they've done that for decades and decades and decades.
Well, that was my question of like why it's basically the system, because it's not airtight type system. Dave Rubin, who lives in Los Angeles, there's no checks and balances like for voter ID, which could be like your
but each state does their own voting laws the right way, and that's why that's like. And the Democrats and Republicans are the parties are supposed to be the ones that sponsor your local election and fund them, but they both sides permanently absolutely choose to not fund an evolving system, have people hired on, because if you had a system that wasn't corruptible, both sides will lose. All right. Okay.
Yeah. I've seen the movie Man of the Year starring Robin Williams. If you want to see political comedy, that one where a stand-up comic, basically, like if Jon Stewart became president, that's the concept of the film.
I'd vote Jon Stewart. Fuck yeah. Okay. Fuck yeah, I'd vote Jon Stewart. I'd also vote Bill Burr.
as vice president, yeah, a bit of balance.
Yeah, or Bill Burr president, Jon Stewart vice president.
Yeah, I think I would like Dave Chappelle to win because the State of the Union address would be interesting because of censorship work.
Yes,
I have to censor myself now because there's fucking snowflakes everywhere. He gets up there, hello N-word.
Yes. Hello, my Nigerians.
Yes, yeah. My fellow Nigerian mother lovers. Yeah, we'll just clean it up. Yeah.
Yes, Dave Chappelle was the second black president. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh. Bill Burr, I don't know. It's a tie. I mean, Dave Chappelle, awesome. I definitely want to see his acceptance speech. But Bill Burr, man, it would be neck and neck with whose acceptance speech would be better.
Can you imagine meeting Putin or Xi Jinping or any leader in the Oval Office? Yeah, brother, do you want a blunt? Getting high in the Oval Office.
Yeah, exactly. But you know Obama did it. Come on, you know he got high in the office at least once.
According to certain emails, he did a lot of things that I'm aware. Like he bought $25,000 worth of hot dogs. Is that code? Now I can't remember. Do we see? Because we came up with a lot of predictions, and I keep thinking of new ones. Because I think we had one about Q, didn't we?
Yes, it's further down there.
All right, so there's 2 pages. No, there's 3 pages. That's why I can't find it.
Yeah.
But one thing I did remember that we didn't put in our list is the sort of the political joke that a candidate wins whatever side, but the rest of the ballot goes the other way. So if Biden wins, everyone else is Republican. So they can't really, you're president. You're not doing anything because you suck. But it's like Trump and Trump wins because we all like him. But to give it sort of power balance, we've made everything else Democrat.
Right. See, the thing is, like I was telling you before the show started, you can't believe whatever the polls are telling you. Those are inconsequentials. If you go by who's raising the most money, when it comes to the Congress and the Senate, the Democrats are outspending the Republicans 4-1. Okay. And that's simply because the last 4 years of Trump, the Republicans had to do yes, ma'am, and deal with the mainstream media's forever attacking on Trump. And many of them have been made look like fools, which was what the mainstream media wanted to do.
Now, a question for you, sir. With $2 billion worth of damage by the rioting and the militant arm of BLM and the idiots at Antifa, would that go by the Republicans are spending enough money? Because like a lot of people really are going Republican while their city's on fire because the left, the Republicans are allowing all this shit to happen.
See, that is the corporate kleptocracy telling those state governors and state city councilmen to do that because it's another form of paid agent provocateurs.
Yes, but the end result is like if you are a swing voter in Seattle or Portland and it's on fire because of
but it's not really, it's one block. It's not the whole city's not on fire. It's one block.
Yeah, hang on. Are you saying humanity's intelligent and smart and they can see through this?
I have that little inkling in me that they're not all blissfully stupid ignorant.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, remember this when Andrew has a bit of a rant in the further shows where humanity needs to do this, but you're intelligent and smart. I'm just putting that out there.
Yes. I may have to eat those words.
Yeah. I'm playing the long game against the Galactic Historian. Yeah, but you said this. Shut up.
Okay, so one of our other predictions that there would be an earthquake or a big disaster. Today we had an earthquake and tsunami in Turkey. So hey, that's still on the radar.
And because they never just happen in one place, the whole Earth does move. So yes, global disaster. Vote asteroid.
Yes, vote asteroid. Hubu Murumu, whatever that asteroid was that turned out to be nothing.
Well, apparently, you've seen that meme where like murder hornets have been discovered, and then there's like a betting guy. It's like, who had murder hornets for August? Apparently, NASA, giggle, never a straight answer. Some space agent that said there's a rogue planet moving through the solar system, and then it's the guys like, who had Nibiru? Because people are playing that bingo card.
Yes, who had Nibiru?
Yeah. So yeah, there's so that's the interesting. Just a sidestep into the spiritual new age, whatever fucking community we're in. There is so much. I don't know if it's disinformation or people aren't aware of certain things. Because like, how many different versions of Nibiru have you heard? Where it's turning up in 1,000 years. I think Bashar, not the leader of Syria, has said that. I think it was him or someone actually said that. No, because it was at a different frequency dimension, that they moved it out of 3D and it sailed past without affecting the Earth at all.
Yes, and every major blogger back then was predicting it was going to destroy the galaxy, destroy the universe, destroy the solar system, and look where we are now. Yeah. Now, somebody is saying something about deep fried turducken. I love turducken. Oh my God, it is like the bomb of the bomb. But if you don't know what turducken is, it is a chicken stuffed into a duck that's stuffed into a turkey and then cooked.
Yeah. When the aliens arrive, don't start with that. Just point out we eat animals. Oh, really? And then get to the point of like, yeah, we get 3 of them and jam them together.
Yes. Now it's crazy foodie stuff. Now I've also been to an extreme foodie barbecue where it was a chicken stuffed into a duck, stuffed into a turkey, stuffed into a pig, and the pig was stuffed into a cow. That was fucking amazing. Let me tell you. Okay.
So it's the Russian dolls theory of cooking.
Yes, but it's slow cooked over like 30 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the grease that comes out as the duck fat meets the chicken fat, and the oh my God, and then when the pig gives it, it's more like amazing. Yeah, amazing.
See, yeah, I could see that. It's not like someone. Let's be creative. It's like, I'm hungry now. We have to feed everybody, but I've got a small fire, so let's jam everything together.
Yeah.
Because I still find that fascinating. I'm sure you'll be able to look into the Akashic records and find out why in the Amazon someone's gone, I know that leaf with that root and will trip balls in 10,000 different things. But there's other, just imagine it's like, you shouldn't eat duck poo. Why not? Well, Dave over there's throwing up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's got to be, there's an element of experimentation. It's like the first human's like, how did we find this stuff out? Well, we lost 3 guys when we tried.
Exactly. And somebody in the chat room saying this is the first time they've heard of turducken. It goes back to ancient Roman, even ancient Egyptian delicacies where they talk about stuffing, and slow cooking. It's an ancient process. And in between the stuffing, they add figs and walnuts and all this other stuff to the ancient recipes. So it's sweet, it's sour, it's everything you can think of.
Yep. Just like the first time someone actually came up with it. Like, Shamil, what are you doing? I've got an idea. Give me the chicken.
Give me the chicken. Exactly. Give me that chicken. Give me that duck. Give me that pig.
Now, turn away. It's just fascinating.
Yes.
Where humanity, we're moving we're evolving, we have technology and everything else. It's still like even watching Warrior, which is based off the Bruce Lee writings, which almost turned into kung fu. It's still the same with gangs and prostitution and money and everything. Like, oh wow. Like, in certain ways, we haven't moved forward at all.
Right. So we're going to ask people, because our guest is apparently unable to get on their internet right now. Do you want to check and see if that person's going to come in? So we're going to ask people to go ahead and raise their hand, and we're going to take election predictions from our callers. So if you click on that participants button and click the raise hand, if you are listening on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or anywhere else and want to be a part of the inner conversation, have your questions answered, be a caller, you must be in the Zoom room. Robert is going to put up some information for if you're listening anywhere else. All that information is there. You can even dial in via your phone. Zoom has all these beautiful features built into it. Now, people, go ahead and click raise your hand, and we're going to get election predictions. And right now, we have only 2 brave individuals who have raised their hand.
Yeah, that's a better way of marketing instead of insulting them like last time. Come on, you cocksuckers! Why aren't you coming on?
Look at that! You just threatened it, and 9 more hands raised.
I'm like, did you go to the Lucasfilm School of Marketing? What are you doing?
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of election predictions and see who we're going to talk to first.
And yeah, see if they're made, and see if you made it onto the list of us, because we covered a lot. So it would be interesting to see. Like, I'll give one away. The Swedish chef wins the election. So let's see what predictions that the listeners have. I just love that.
Asil Kreb. Unmute.
Asil Kreb, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi, where are you calling from?
I am in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. What are your election predictions?
Well, I was just sort of thinking about people staying up all night waiting for the results to come in. And then when the sun comes out the next day, everybody's going to walk outside and they're not going to have anything to say because they're going to be so dumbfounded, whatever it is. They're going to be so dumbfounded. People are going to be standing outside completely silent.
I think that's a high probability of that happening.
and scratching their heads, kind of like after 9/11. Like people were walking around like they had no idea what to do or say.
Right. Even if somebody does win, I think that's going to happen on one side anyways, especially if Trump wins via landslide all the way through. Those Democrats are going to be awful sour.
Well, and then if you imagine too, the ones who aren't happy about whatever happens,
right?
They're outside, they're laughing like maniacs, like maniacal. Like you got the picture of The Shining there, yeah, like just or like in when he was in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and he just picks up chairs and start throwing it through the window. And was that the big Indian guy? Just people are just they're not gonna know what to do, no matter what.
So in your heart of hearts, what is your election prediction?
I mean, I think Trump is probably going to take it again.
The whole thing, the whole enchilada, or just part of it?
I think so. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a preference, but I think there's a silent majority out there that feels that he's more of a savior than he is. And I think that's going to take it for him.
There's also an element. There's an element as well that you keep seeing people getting beaten to a bloody pulp because they're wearing a red cap, and so there's that silent army of like then they want to vote for Trump, but they don't tell anybody from the fear of being labeled a racist or being punched or anything else like that. So that's an option, or I think there's a silent army in that respect, because if you look at Joe Biden, like if you talk to a Biden supporter, okay, without mentioning Trump, why should Biden be president? Yeah, and that's the response you get.
No, it's because Biden's supposedly the lesser of 2 evils. And this is my, again, personal view. I don't know who's going to win. The Akashic record's not showing it, but this is what I'm going to say. If Trump wins landslide electoral college and popular vote, but doesn't maintain the Senate or the Congress, that's corporate America telling us something about the deep state itself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I kept asking in the chat room, what about the House? What if the Republicans take the House and Trump wins? That's a whole nother scenario.
Yeah, but
altogether, assumingly.
But if you go by the amount of money that's raised and money buys politics, the Republicans are been outspent 10-1.
Yeah, and that's usually a predictor, but I think all things are inverse right now, and I don't think that can be used for a predictor anymore. I don't know if it may be, but that'll be a good tell to see how much corporate America does have a stronghold, or if the attempt to drain the swamp really drained some of the corporate swamp, but just shifted to another side of the corporate swamp.
Listen, no, the swamp has not been drained at all. They've added new swamp monsters. Okay.
Well, yeah.
And now it's like a big episode of river monsters, swamp monsters, new swamp monsters appearing. Okay.
I just think of draining the swamp as like maybe deregulating some of the government controls, but what's really in control, the government or the corporate money? And it's the corporate money.
The Fed and the corporate money. Still money. It still comes down to the money runs everything.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm wondering is what will cause the people to finally say, no, I'm done.
Well, over the last 3 decades of elections, the term vote for the lesser of two evils has been a common thread.
Yeah.
And right now, the way things have polarized, many Americans are going to vote Trump because he's more evil than Biden, because the more evil person you have, the faster the system crashes.
And you think that's what the people want, the system to crash?
If Trump landslides the Electoral College popular vote, Senate and House, yes. That is a clear slide. Vote devil, okay?
Well, and what does that have to do with, I'm noticing signs in this area, and I don't know if it's a state thing or not, maybe you can help me understand, but people are trying to vote to bring back the rank voting. Isn't that what they did in the early days, where you choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the most popular is winning the presidency?
Each state has their own way that their ballots appear and how the ballot names and appear on it. There's no federal election ballot, and that's done on absolute purpose to confuse voters by the nature of the presentation.
So we're so easily confused.
Right, on purpose that's done. That's why there has been no major voting funding in the last 50 years. I remember when I first learned to vote, we were using voting machines from the 1940s. Okay?
What did they look like?
They were these giant walls that you click like this, with little toggle switches.
Like old switchboards,
Yeah, like old switchboards. They were giant. That's it. I used that all the way up into let's try to think. Not W1, Bush, Clinton. So Bush lost as I voted for Bush, then Clinton, and then Gore. Gore was the last time that those machines were used. Then they switched to paper ballots.
Well, there was no room for error there, I'm sure, either. So
well, there's room for error everywhere. All right.
No, I'm sure there's no room for error in any of these systems. But yeah, I think, what you talk about generally in your show and then bringing it to the comedy level here, I was surprised to hear you say that people are generally more intelligent. On the one hand, yes, but you have to break that program to discover how intelligent you are first, right? And how does that program get broken?
Yeah, Robert, thank you. That's exactly what the machine looked like.
Oh, I've got 3 lemons.
Yeah. Okay. Except ours were even bigger than that. Okay.
There's a meme going around, $10 that Biden votes for Trump accidentally.
Accidentally.
On the intelligence of the voter, there's one positive thing also about the mainstream media. They are trying to educate people into their belief system, and they are trying to up the intelligence, even though it's mind-controlled versions of it. So the voters are informed, but they're not informed about the right things.
Well, that's sort of happened with Trump. Is he was a catalyst when Trump won the election. A lot more people got interested in politics, be it for or against. He's still a catalyst that more people now. Apparently, it's going to be there's more people voting than last election.
Mm-hmm. So, darling, thanks a lot for calling. We want to do a bunch of. Okay, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
All righty, next person will be Elena K.
Elena, are you there?
Yes, guys. Hi.
Hi, where are you calling from?
Greece.
Welcome to the show once again. How you doing today?
I was just diaper changing and I'm listening to you. Winter time is here, so it's 1 hour earlier, so I can catch you.
Wonderful.
I like
So-
you changing your diapers. Like that's very political. That explains what we're talking about.
So we're going to ask you to read the tea leaves of the diaper.
It's all going to turn to shit.
It's like in Greece when they turn the coffee cup over. We want you to find out from the diaper who's going to win our election.
Okay, the diaper is not showing anything particular because it's white.
Yeah, a white man wins. That much we know.
Well, it's not yellow. It could be all pea, you know.
No, if it's the blue from the line that it's for Pete.
That thin blue line.
Yeah, exactly. That thin blue line.
So does the thin blue line mean Nancy Pelosi's temporary president?
Oh, please don't. No, please. Please, no. I mean, I'm not so in touch with all due to the work and the children, but I'm mostly listening to you so that I can get up to date a little bit. I missed the last one. Yeah, of course. It's the best one. You tap into everything, so we get informed the way we need to be informed.
Well, what we would like for you to do over the next couple days from now until Tuesday is to read the diaper leaves.
Okay.
And have your baby help us predict who's going to win that election.
Well, according to the last diaper change, let's say it like this, that I could very, very easily remember, because as I entered the room, the smell was, oh dear God. I can say one thing, because actually the whole world is now watching on this event. So it's fortunate, unfortunate, I don't know how to put it. It will determine a lot, that is for sure. The thing is, what will it determine, and how many people are awake enough or stayed awake enough to see through all this after the trapping and the trapping and the trapping.
Well, no matter who wins, there are going to be a lot of people going to sleep afterwards. So
yeah.
It doesn't matter how many are awake now. A good portion are going to sleep afterwards.
Well, after 2 years of an election crap, I think everyone's like, "Oh, can we just vote asteroid? Like, like that's an option.
Vote
like,
asteroid.
just have an asteroid hit Washington or something. Let's move on with our lives."
Someone else, at least someone else, and those that are known. This is something that needs to be brought up, that some other people need to step up. And I think, like the first caller said, it's not only that they need to get out of the system, it's also the need to get out of fear. I think that's why they're promoting fear. If you're not afraid, you can step up. But if you're afraid, you just sit there and see what's happening. Not in a deeper level. I mean, okay, you're not going to sit there to see what's happening. That's a secure way. That doesn't mean that you're afraid, but still most of them are fearful.
Yeah, David Icke says that the controllers in bunny ears. There are people trying to control the planet, and yet we're still doing this show. So yeah. I think they suck at it. I do like how the planet is controlled by psychopaths and run by idiots. And what we're seeing is the idiots fight against each other, and fear is their currency. That's the only way they can use it. It's one way of saying, angels create and demons manipulate. And so what we're seeing, they use fear to try and, you do this, do that, do that. Like, I mean, the whole COVID thing where there's so much, the science is settled, but it changes every 3 weeks. Where, we've got a deadly disease out there and the survival rate's over 99%.
Yeah.
How deadly is this friggin' thing? And I saw an article. This is extremely funny. The scientists are baffled because influenza has disappeared.
Yes, because it's not being diagnosed anymore. Exactly.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, all of a sudden, the seasonal flu has dropped to 0.
Yeah. And there is a theory as well. Once Trump wins, the COVID's going to disappear. I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch, but it'd be interesting if that happens.
Right.
I mean, COVID has done a lot. I mean, appearing and disappearing is not a bad thing. It's okay.
Yes, it's the great disappearing virus of 2019 and 2020. All right, Donna, thanks a lot for calling in.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day or evening, whatever. See ya.
Yes,
See
Robert.
you later.
Before we spin up the wheel of cars, just 1 second. But the chat room is moving fast. I wanted to respond to it. So, Andrew, people will go back to sleep. Can you expand on that? Come on, man. Come on. Come on. What kind of malarkey question is that? Come on. They're so strung up on the mind control. They're going to go back to sleep.
Yeah, well, that's an easier option. Basically, it's like after, even political pundits and analysts is like, this is so tiring.
Right.
And that whole thing of people wake up and they're in that oh my god state, as I think the previous caller said, mainly because of like I had a thought. The first thought they'll have after the election is, can we not do that again?
Right. Can we not do that again?
We have to in 4 years. Oh, for the love of fucking
Okay. And somebody is saying they're already asleep, going, no, they've been hitting the snooze alarm and they're in that awake state, but they're still finishing their dream. Okay.
Oh yeah, that crossover where
yes,
am I awake? Oh, I'm riding a unicorn, but I can hear my local breakfast radio. Oh, hang on, what's going? It's that blend across changing your frequencies.
Yeah. All right, Robert. Let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
All righty, Santo, you there?
Santo.
Hello.
Hello. Long time since we talk. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm just getting hopelessly confused here. So I'm listening with one ear and shutting it out with the other.
Great way to live. Great way to live.
You're in Queensland, aren't you?
I'm in Queensland, land of the free, Monty.
Yeah.
When are you coming?
Please. Once I can move out of my little pen. You've got you have your own election coming up. Is that today?
Oh, actually, we've got an election today, and it's a choice between Palachuk and Freckleton or something. Yeah, so we've got our own. Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm going to go up to the local hall.
So you got to choose a punch to the nuts or punch to the throat.
Yeah. I'm going to practice a bit of artwork, and depends how long the queue is as to how long I can perfect my art.
Yeah, I saw that One Nation, apparently its Facebook account or Twitter account got disabled yesterday. Just one day. Yeah, we haven't talked about big tech fiddling with the Switch. So it's election season apparently.
Everywhere, it's global election time. Fun times. Hey Andrew, what's global reset mean when they talk about it?
The Great Reset that the financial people want?
Yeah, people go, because when, you were talking before, it's like, what does it take? And then people go, well, for things to collapse, you need a reset. So then people say, bring on the reset.
Yeah, but you can't have a reset if it's still just as corrupt when you come back from the reset.
Yeah,
it's still rigged against you.
What level or area is the Great Reset in? Because the World Economic Forum, that's just basically the global narrative going, we'll give you a couple of bones and you'll, it's just like it's a reset to the same shit. Or is this the spiritual reset where we all wake up and we move forward and expand consciousness?
No, the reset, it's this big button with a unicorn on it. You just got to find where it is.
Yeah.
No,
we've done that 5 times in a row. We have to end this one. This is what I know about, because it's like I remember Andrew telling a story. He was just hanging out with friends, and they were talking about the spiritual war, which is weird. Which Andrew and I came up in the last week. This spiritual war is weird. And this is, I think, the 5th or 6th time that we've tried to free humanity. And all these friends were just went into shock because, hanging out with Andrew, he just drops these little nuggets to freak people out. It's quite fun where, if you see Andrew on other shows where it's I think you're on Laura Eisenhower. Is it David? I can't remember his last name. And I think Laura asked the question, and Andrew, please answer this because it's like a paragraph long and you're very better at it. Who controls the world? And then 30 seconds later, everyone's jaws on the floor because Andrew said
that it's a Hollow Earth run society, that it's running an apparatus of middle managers on the surface, blah, 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 blah. Go back and listen to that show, the first Dark to Light episode.
Yeah, it was the best
Yes.
paragraph I've heard in years where it's like, oh, here's the actual truth. And everyone's like, oh.
Oh, exactly. Now you get it.
Exactly. It reminds me a bit of all the conspiracy theories around 9/11. And, and it was like, it was the Muslims, it was the terrorists, it was directed energy weapons. And you're kind of processing all these possibilities. And then I hear Andrew one day come up with this reasoning about 9/11. And I'm like, no, that couldn't. Maybe it is. But it's outside the realms of even possibilities.
And what I said is, it is all of those happening at once, because one time travel person tried to counter it, the next tried to counter it, the next trying to counter it, until you had several hundred different species countering the counter to the counter to the counter. So all of it was simultaneously happening at once inside those buildings.
And because of that, this is what I like what Andrew said. And because of that, even the Prime creator took notice.
Yes.
And they're like, oh,
what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly. When he said there were so many timelines, it was like so many timelines collapsed at once within me that I was cross-eyed for about a week. I'm like, how could this be even possible?
Yeah, you're thinking about it again.
Yeah, you're thinking about it again.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Imagine me trying to perceive and receive and understand. It's like, huh? Wait, you from there and you from there started this, and then all you from all those other places started this, and this is how it turns out in our narrative.
Yeah, it's the ultimate crossover. Where it's Star Wars, Star Trek, Lord of the Rings, My Little Pony, Smurfs are all in the same show.
Right.
Yes.
And go ahead.
And try to give us a bit of a feel for the concept of inversion in this moment, a few days out of the election, because we always think in terms of, but that's inverted. But then you think maybe it's an inversion of the inversion. So maybe it was right side up to begin with.
This is what I will say, and I've made this statement a few times. Right now, everyone that's dealing with these election potentialities and possibilities, it has a syndrome called cranial anal inversion.
Is that when your third eye and your lower third eye actually connect?
Yes. Cranial anal inversion. Now, I have used this statement on some very intelligent people who all of a sudden went,
As the great Bill Hicks says, they look like you've just shown a card trick to a dog.
Yes.
Is motherfucker spitting? What the fuck?
Well, it's all obsession about the US.
No, it's cranial. It's so somebody said it's cranial. It's cranial. CRAINL, like head, anal, and ass inversion, head up ass scenario.
Exactly. But where do all the other nations fit? Are they just sort of sitting there eating donuts? Or are they, like China, Russia, like Australia now has joined an alliance with India. So what's going on around? Are they just kind of on the phone to each other going, we know what's going to happen? Or are they nervously chewing on their fingernails?
they've all thrown their money into the American politics to make something happening, and now they're wondering if they've made a good investment or not.
Yeah, what's the ripple effect from this? Because everyone's sort of waiting, and once Joe or Donald wins, then they can kind of move forward. They have to see the outcome to plan and move forward, if that makes sense.
But do they do a kind of an insurance kind of strategy, a bit like, old, what's his face with all the money he did with the Bank of England and the GFC?
I'm going to say no, because remember, we're run by idiots.
Okay.
You've seen what Victoria and Australia's done. So, yeah. I still find it funny here in Australia for every member of parliament, they're always referred to as honourable. With the honourable member, like, shut up.
Well, the dishonourable member.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the slime minister, yeah.
So
or the prime sinister, yes.
So to add something else to what Santo was saying, what are all these governments doing? You could also see it like a big game of roulette. Everyone's kind of bet on something, okay? And the ball's spinning. and it's waiting to fall into the hole to see who's going to win. But remember, in casinos, the house always wins.
Uh-huh.
And what's the house? The global swamp. Come on, the global swamp.
As I learned from Jordan Maxwell, there's the left wing and the right wing, but it's the same bird. And
Same
I like how
bird, exactly.
Yeah. And Bill Hicks, the great Bill Hicks, put it better, where it's like, the puppet on the left with the blue tie says something that I like, but the puppet on the right with the red tie is to my liking. Then you step back. Hang on, it's the same guy holding both puppets.
Right.
Yeah, but regardless, you can't put a bucket over your head and cease to exist. You know,
people are doing it all the time. What are you talking about? People are doing it all the time.
Yeah, but everyone's pointing at them going, you got a bucket on your head. And they go, no, I don't exist.
No, they're arguing over,
It's the bucket isn't real. Come on. It's a flat earth bucket.
Yeah, is it a red bucket or a blue bucket? You know, that's the other thing about the whole elections is they've funneled it to it's either one or the other. Because where are the Green Party? There's the Libertarians, and they always get pushed out because they can't have a third party. And if a third party comes into the US elections, they're just taking votes away from the two prime guys.
No,
and
you need another puppeteer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like when not Ross Perot. Yeah, Ross Perot.
That's Perot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, is that a character from Agatha Christie? No, I think that's how Clinton won, because he took votes away from Bush or some crap. So you know what I mean? It's you kind of need to have another whole part. You need a level of this. A party is big enough as the Democrats and the Republicans to make an impact, but it's got to be 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. You can't do that build up because it just unsettles everything. And of course, the controlling mechanism, like the whole debates, it's a presidential debate. Well, where's all the other candidates?
Right.
Yeah,
they don't exist, but they've never existed in American politics. There are other people running for president. There is a libertarian. There is a bunch of others, but mainstream media never is going to talk about them.
No, because you don't want to give people a choice.
Yeah, but that's the point, is that a lot of people, myself included, sometimes pride themselves into not buying into it. I don't buy into it. I don't belong there. So to me, it's like a whole lot of people with virtual buckets walking around going, I don't buy into it. And fine, don't buy into it. But we still got to eat. We still got to do some basic things. So we kind of ratchet back to these very, very basic starting points over and over and over again, going, I'm not entangling, I'm not buying in. Fine. So let's just sit across the table from each other and smile.
Well, yeah, if you're not buying it in, I don't think you're wearing a bucket, or you've cut holes in the bucket so you can see. Because we still have to live in the 3D reality and exist and play the game. But by playing the game, you don't give the global narrative energy, and you can hide in the system, if that makes sense. Because I really haven't had a job for 4 decades, and I've been on government welfare, and I'm doing quite well.
You're doing a great job. You are an exemplary citizen of the universe. Showing us all.
Robert, they look like the worst stormtrooper from Star Wars I've ever seen.
Yes. So I want to add something. I want to add something in here related to your original question. What's the rest of the world going to do? Well, after the roulette ball lands and whoever loses goes, oh no, I lost, and whoever wins goes, hey, I won. The roulette ball spins again. The game doesn't end. Okay?
Exactly. So you get into this notion where everyone has a different version of, if I can't beat them, I'll join them. But I'm not playing a dirty game. I'm just playing the game. And you go, well, no, you're just getting good at the mini version of the game. So are we all here in a big friggin' sandpit just playing games, and the kid that's got the best toys is probably the one that got the best toys because they knew how to play the game best.
Or their daddy gave him the best toys first.
True.
Okay.
Well,
and that explains Bush Jr. because for his graduation gift he got the presidency. Most people get a car or go to.
Yes. No, I want to step here and then add just a little bit of a hardcore, comical yet truthy statement here. No matter who wins, the rest of the world has to step up. Period. Okay, if Biden wins, he's going to go on an apology tour around the world. If Trump wins, he's going to go on, I'm going to troll the rest of the world tour. Okay, the rest of the world has to seriously step up and begin to stand on their own 2 feet because they haven't been doing it for the longest time.
Since World War II.
Right.
Because World War II seems to be where, there's been a massive change.
Right. And if Trump wins, he's literally going to troll the whole world. Okay.
He'll do it well, but he'll be trolling.
Yes, he will wholly troll the whole world. And he's going to buy Greenland, let me tell you.
I did like when he shared on Twitter a photo of Greenland with a Trump tower. He could do stand-up comedy. He knows what he's doing in certain aspects by pissing people off.
Troll the world. Exactly. Okay.
I think Robert said to turn on my video.
Your video is on. Your video is on.
Oh,
we can see you.
Yeah, can you see the portal?
Yes, you see the light above your head. Yes.
Andrew, is that my halo or is it the portal?
No, that's your Trump portal.
Looks like Trump man. Looks like white man's magic to me.
Exactly. Biden portal. Sorry.
And for those playing at home, see, Santo's real. He's not a robot. So.
Yes. Exactly. There's so many things that whoever wins the election, we've said before, there's going to be one side that's going to go into a deep depression. A whole bunch of people are going to go back to sleep. But the side that wins, they're not going to have much more energy to stay awake a long time either. And it's just like post 2012, where all those people who were waiting on December 27th, 29th for the aliens to land. And then 4 years later, they're still waiting for the aliens to land. 7 years later, still waiting. There's going to be a big drop off. And the news channels are going to have a huge reduction in their audiences. And then the global narrative is going to have to change. Well, it's just like a new season. Season's cliffhanger, and the new season's got to start getting you back into the show without losing your audience. Otherwise, they've got to cancel the series.
Well, if Trump loses, what's CNN going to do? Because they're
fucked. They're fucked. Yeah,
what are they going to talk about?
Well, if Trump loses, Fox News is going to fire everyone. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Someone asked a good question about the black magic of elections. I'll use different terminology. It means the same thing. Is election that's a form of energy harvesting, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. It's energy harvesting.
Okay.
So somebody is asking me to say something positive about this. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of positive stuff. That's why we're doing a comedy showing on it. Okay?
Well, I can give something positive. In January, things will look all right.
Depending on what's going on with the courts.
I know, but in the Constitution and all the framework, there has to be a decision by the 20th of January, correct?
No.
23rd?
No. Oh, crap.
No.
There goes my positive bench.
That's why the continuity of government takes over.
Yeah, and what happens if Pelosi is caretaker government? Then the vote goes to Congress, doesn't it?
The vote goes to Congress, and then she becomes, if the Congress cannot put the stamp of the election on and do the ritual of the approval, because there is a congressional ritual of approval that makes the president, that allows him to take the oath in January.
Now, is with that ritual, is it between the two candidates or is it anyone?
No. That's a Congress does that. They certify the election.
Yeah, so it's just the candidates. Yeah,
the candidates aren't there. The Congress certifies.
Yeah, but who are they choosing then?
It's an electoral college.
Yeah.
Now, what the electoral college is the Congress and the Senate, but there are super delegates in each state that go back and forth, which determines the 270. Rule.
Okay. My question is, they choose who president is by second part of the question is they choose between the two candidates, or can anyone become president?
No. The continuity of government says the Speaker of the House becomes the temporary president until the dispute is resolved in the courts.
It's between the two candidates.
No, the candidates have nothing to do with it. The continuity of government.
Then who becomes? Yeah, but who becomes president then? If it's not one of the candidates,
the Speaker of the House.
Yes, and it's like you're going back now. At the end of this, who do they choose?
No, the court will give a decision of who the electoral vote. No, of who the electoral votes go, and then it goes back to the House for an approval, who will then say this person is the president, and they will give them an inaugural date. And whoever's the acting president will release that acting presidency as a point of approval as they certify the election.
That's a long way of saying, yes, it's between the two candidates.
But it isn't truly because at that point it's in the hands of Congress.
Yeah, but you have to have a president at the end of the procedure. Is it between? Yeah, so either it'll be Trump or Biden, or will it be Papa Smurf?
But it could stay in the courts for years.
Ooh, yeah, I know, but still,
it could stay in the courts because the states, each individual, if there's a contested election, it'll be contested in more than one state, and each state has to go to their their state court, then their state Supreme Court, and then the federal Supreme Court may hear that election right away. It won't go direct. It will not go direct to the United States Supreme Court. It has to. Each state has their own approval. That's why states' rights come first.
Yep. So while they're arguing over Orange Man or Mr. Magoo, we could have Melting Witch as the president.
Whatever you want to call her. Yeah, whatever you want to call her. Exactly.
Nancy. Yeah. However you want to. Yeah.
But the thing is, she would immediately start getting all the acting people, all the people that Trump has as acting heads of Congress, of the cabinets. She would immediately elect all Democrats right away. Why? Because they can keep this in the courts for years. Yes, for years. Look what Trump has done. He's not one subpoena has ever truly been served to him.
What if it goes longer than 4 years? Do they just scrap it and go to another election?
Technically, yes, because there's no setup for an emergency federal elections. If there's an emergency federal election, it is done by an act of Congress, and only an act of Congress can create a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Monty, you're going to have to listen to this about 100 times to work out the pile of possibilities for the next 4 years.
Again,
I figured it out.
Nancy could be. Now, the thing is, who becomes the vice president?
AOC.
No. The head of the Senate, Mitch McConnell.
Oh, dear.
Right.
Is he a Republican or a Democrat?
He's a Republican.
Oh, instant balance.
Right. So that means immediately the Speaker of the House and the head of the Senate go to become the new officers, and then the Congress and Senate has to replace the majority whip and the head of the Congress, which more than likely if the Republicans retain office in the Senate. We don't really know what's going to happen there, and the same thing in the Congress. We don't know who's going to retain.
Yeah,
but on January 2nd is when the new Congress comes in. But in the interim, if there's no certified election, it's Nancy Pelosi, and if the new Congress comes in, the new head of the Congress they take over the presidency. Yes, clusterfuck 2020.
Yeah, so landslide. Everyone put energy into a landslide. Doesn't matter which one. Just like, because it's just what Andrew's explaining. I'm like, oh, man. Now I still know more about political and civics in the United States than most Americans.
Right. So here's
what
the
sole
thing.
contract did I agree to?
Corporate America does not want a long and protracted court battle. Period. They don't. They don't want a long and protracted court battle because everyone's going to start pulling their money out of the banks then. Okay.
Well, yeah, and globally as well. If it looks like the United States is unstable, they'll go other places because of it's the uncertainty,
Right.
which is basically the whole thing about stock market is, Trump gets sick, the market plunges, and he's out of hospital and he's cured from COVID, and the markets go up. It fluctuates on speculation.
Right. That's why I'm saying it won't be 79 days of hell. It'll be maybe 29 days of hell.
Okay. So just before New Year's, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's the gift of Christmas.
Yes, the Christmas gift. On another hand, here, if more than 2 states are contested elections, let's say you have a Florida contested election, Ohio contested election, and a Michigan contested election. That's 3 states. Well, we know 2 of them will probably be pro-Republican at the end because their states are run by Republicans. If we have a 4th state, like let's say California has a majorly inconsistent election, even though it's very pro-Democrat, then each candidate has less than 100 electoral votes, which means, oops, there's no one wins the Electoral College. Okay? And does the popular vote stand? Technically, no. Technically, no. Okay?
Yeah. I just had a realization of it's going to be a complete schmozzle, old time word, shit show, clusterfuck.
Right, and then all the swamp monsters are going to meet in the back, and they're going to decide what happens. Not us. It'll be a bunch of swamp monsters meeting in the back room.
Yeah. So go ahead, Santa.
Regardless of the swamp monsters and the outcome, is it still irrelevant because we're moving into that digital future, possibly? Where there's a currency as they know now are weakening, collapsing, changing, whatever.
Well, the answer is no, because they need physical currency to continue money laundering products, and the cryptocurrencies are not set up in a way in which they can mass launder money yet. No, they still need physical currencies to launder drug money worldwide. Period.
Yes.
Okay.
So how can go ahead.
No, just on that currency side, if you had a pie chart and you're dividing up, the outcome and just look at humanity in general being interests or whatever you want to call it, and the amount of energy being used to move, shape, manipulate, is this political process a huge slice of the pie, or are there other big slices of the pie that are not even really being talked about, or even like the currencies or other major issues going on with other countries that, irrespective, we're heading into a different future regardless of this very, very big talked about topic globally at the moment? Is it disproportionate, the talk, chat and everything?
Yes.
In other words,
yes, it's very disproportionate. And it's so disproportionate, it's not allowing the positives to come through in any way, shape, or form. And I want to address the chat room. A lot of people say something positive, say something positive. This is a comedy show. Why are you crying? Listen, we are trying to take the piss out of this. And if you're crying here, let down, relax. We are laughing here. And I know some people take their politics so seriously or so much and not about politics. When they hear it makes you cry. That's where you got to do some of that inner work. Don't let it get to you. We're laughing our ass off here. And for the people in a chat room, I'm saying, I'm crying. Turn that frown upside down.
Take a step back, look at the whole thing and just go, this is just silly.
Okay.
I understand being invested because you're part of the system, but also you can step back and go, how many fucking clowns are running this show? Because it's just like from Andrew, me just trying to ask the candidates and just everything. It's all that distraction and legalese and blah, blah, blah. And like, really? I just want to have a good life. You people are nuts. It's a bunch of clowns.
And now to add what Santo was saying, the rhetoric is so far out of balance that people have been highly charged into high rhetoric and there is no in between, to the point where the middleman is considered the point to attack. They want to erase the middle points of view, which are always the ones that get the compromises to be done. Right now, they've polarized it so no compromise can be done. And that's why so many people are pissed off, angry, and crying. There is no middle ground. But that's the nature of political rhetoric. And as the rhetoric monsters die down after the election, and whoever wins goes on the tour of the apology tour or the trolling tour, well, different rhetoric is going to take over. Okay?
Yes. And it's very hard to have a conversation at the moment because everyone's polarized. And I cut off half my family because they're a Trump supporter. Like, really? It's like the mentality that's out there is some people want a civil war because they can't accept that people have different views. That's it. And, you know, I've got a strange thing of like, it's a universal law, do no harm. And most of this is doing harm. And, you know, it's just seeing families and, you know, people. There has been instances where couples have broken up because they went down the QAnon rabbit hole. And apparently Q's entering Canadian reality and all this type of stuff. And we could talk while I've got the talking stick. You've got the energies as well leading up to this election. It's Halloween, Beltane, depending where you're on the planet, a full moon, and Mercury goes direct on the 3rd or 4th of November. So you can see why everyone's feeling a bit of because the energy's really fucking right. The Prime Creator is a great storyteller.
But the thing is, if you go by what the laws of astrology are saying, it's going to be a long time where there are no decisions made. Yeah. Astrology is saying it's going to be 79 days of hell, and you're not going to get an answer if you follow the astrology. Okay.
Yep. So start reading those Wheel of Time books. There's 12 of them.
Or do like Elena did and look in the diaper and read the diaper leaves.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
It'll be just as accurate.
Yeah.
But usually when this sort of intensity is going on in one space, there's an element of look over here while we work over there.
Yes.
So
classic misdirection. Yes.
Okay, so how much over there? Because I noticed lately there's a lot more, we found water on the moon, and we noticed this, or all this kind of nonsense. Well, it's not nonsense. It's kind of these little disclosures as if there's these newsworthy tidbits while we're looking over there of stuff going on our planet.
So
there's water on the moon.
They found water on the moon in 2004 and then repeated in 2008, 2012, 2015, 2016. They repeat those stories every year because it's seeding the reality long term. They have found liquid water on Mars, confirmed by NASA 4 times now. Yeah, they found liquid water on an asteroid. Okay, because the asteroid had a molten core. Why do asteroids have molten cores? Because they're not telling you why. They have found plenty of these nuggets, which they reseed over and over and over and over again. The big misdirection here to understand is when they're getting us to look at this political thing, what is being done in the background? It's not cleaning the swamp. It's not follow the Q plan. It's not this. It's not that. It's not any of that. They're trying to decide, is the farm going to be woken up or not? That's the big essence. Is the farm going to wake up, or are we going to hit the snooze button for the whole farm?
Oh, man. It's like the UFOs. Like, the CIA says the UFOs and the Pentagon is like, yeah, this is the 8th time, for fuck's sake. Right. As an example, if people will be standing outside on their front lawn and they would see all different types of UFOs across the sky, and they won't believe it until they walk inside and see it on the TV. Because it's like, it's on TV, it's real. You just saw it 30 seconds ago outside, and you had to go to a TV to clarify this.
But when you say the farm, wakes up, doesn't wake up, it depends on which side you look at that from. So are you saying they control the Kool-Aid for the waking up process, or is it a mixture of them with Kool-Aid and people innately waking up.
No, they
Which-
control the Kool-Aid that determines the density of it, the flavors of the Kool-Aid. They control everything and determine, are they going to cut the Kool-Aid off?
But haven't people got the innate ability to figure it out for themselves that they?
Sure, they do.
Is there-
They build up an immunity to the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can only
Now,
you can
is
only
it-
drink orange juice for a certain amount of time. You want to try apple.
So is that the biggest threat to this game? Is that people stop drinking Kool-Aid and start making their own
Yes.
version?
Yes.
Right.
Now,
yeah, it does.
there-
It's
the
an
thing
energy.
the thing is, they can very easily switch from Kool-Aid to beer. Okay.
Better
Okay.
ads. Yeah.
Okay. That's what the 60s were about. Let them have the acid, let them have the weed, but we're going to make the drug laws evil. Okay.
That's it. They've got all the Aussies. The Aussies are done for if they switch to beer.
Mhm.
No, we're already on beer. What are you
Like
talking
they,
about?
they have they have the secondary pacification plan to put us back into like 1960s, 70s party mode. They can easily redo that. They let the flow of drugs, lower the amount of heroin and opioids in, but let the amount of cannabis, ecstasies, and other happy drugs through. And then humanity will be pacified itself. Okay.
And they can still energy harvest off the farm.
Right. But they will lower the amount of energy harvesting. They're not going to milk the cows of 100% every time. They're going to do 40% milking. They've got plenty of stored up energy. The thing is, are they going to introduce driverless cars and some of these other things to take away some of your rights so that when they decide to launch space corporations, you have no choice but to join the new mega corporations?
Yeah, which
So
sounds
along
like good
that
farming.
theme- exactly. Sophisticated farming. But along that theme, it generically doesn't it make sense to, in some way, not be a complete off-gridder, but to see the connection between being locked into a system, any system, and a form of self-sustaining independence, whatever works for you or group of people that you hang out with, keep walking that path without being a zealot. In other words, be wary of we'll take care of this for you. We're going to build a very safe environment for you, and it'll be a car that won't have an accident. And, your little radar goes up and goes, no, I'll go in the opposite.
The corporate world, the corporate world's not going to let it be a completely safe environment like that. They're gonna cut costs where there will be still accidents in the driverless system.
Yeah, you got insurance companies to think of. What's wrong with this
Right.
auto?
Like
It's all about the
literally,
economy.
all the car insurance companies would literally go out of business if that happened. Come on.
Yeah, but they create another, like we had 10 centimetre hailstones here, and apparently there's going to be tornadoes up here today. So they've got different ways of creating disasters.
Oh yeah, but remember, you're a multi-dimensional being as well. Someone actually said they're a muggle, and I say that in a positive sense. That it's amazing how two people can stand next to each other and have total different realities. Mainly being a Republican and a Democrat. That's how it's sort of a template of that. And so that's sort of what I mean by you can hide in the system, where in your heart that you're touching the prime creator, but you're still aware of this system, and you can sort of play their game to a certain point. You don't sort of switch off the rest of yourself and just walk around like a drone. Is that a good way of explaining it, Andrew?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. But that's kind of what it feels like, what's happening on this show. I'm sure if this whole audience, we happen to meet in a cafe, we'd kind of see those aspects that you talked about, Monty, more clearly going, man, he's wearing a red cap. I don't like that, or whatever. But somehow these reality bubbles are able to kind of have some fun by, touching on each other's membranes without wearing them out, without, abusing those boundaries. But somehow it works. And I kind of get the whole essence of this show in particular, and why we need more. Just let down and stop having the stick up the arse approach, because we actually are okay if we sit back and just chill out.
I agree. That's why we started these comedy shows, to get people to sit back and chill out and disconnect from the global infrastructure of distraction.
Yeah,
That's the nature of the show. Yeah.
except when Andrew goes on about the vegans, being the, because I was a vegan most of my life, and that's when I get really agitated.
As long as
Free
it's
will.
you can be a good vegan or a bad vegan. That's what it comes down to. If you're an uneducated vegan, you're gonna go have your issues. All right, Santo, thanks a lot for calling, and we're gonna move on to the next caller.
Thanks a
Very
lot.
quickly,
Thanks,
Andrew.
guys. See you, Monty.
See you later.
Come and
Have
visit
fun.
soon.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
cheers, mate.
I plan to move once I've finished doing what I'm supposed to do here. But remember, everyone, Andrew has been saying most of the year that everything's going to get fractalized in factions. And you're kind of seeing that. There's not one sort of movement. Everyone's just splintering off, which I think is fascinating, that we're all one, but we're all splintering off to figure out that we are all one. We're all different, which makes us the same.
We all have to individually find our oneness with the whole before we can accept there's a wholeness or oneness.
This is for our animated show. I actually came up with a great sort of Buddha Zen quote. You must be whole before you can party.
That's right. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
Alrighty, David LP.
David, are you there?
I am here.
How you doing today? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Vancouver, Canada.
Vancouver, Canada. So what's your election prediction?
I kind of like the sitcom that's going on down there, and that's kind of how Canadians kind of feel about it. So I would like the Trump to kind of maybe win because it's my popcorn eating show.
Yeah, I'm the same. I just want Trump to win to piss off all the left.
Yes.
It's like the next episode is just going to be full of comedy, maybe a bit of shorter frounder, but also being in Canada, you got Justin Trudeau. So like, I don't like what's happening here. I'm going to look at America and laugh at that for a while.
Yeah, our politics isn't as exciting as yours.
Oh yeah, Australian politics. That's why I don't really talk about Australian politics, because it's like that teacher at school where it's just a monotone, where this whole, and then we discovered free energy, and the whole world was moved into the Jetsons, and then you got the United States, like bam, hello everyone.
That's very true. I was just wondering if you guys. I don't know if you guys talk much about Canada, but we are like your big brothers up here, that we kind of have a sensibility about things, but I just kind of laugh half the time at the issues you guys deal with.
You're not our big brothers. You're redhead stepsisters.
You're still part of the English Empire with a little bit of French. You know what I'm saying? Eh?
Yes, oui.
Just a wee bit of France.
We don't like those either.
No, yeah, that division's still happening. Like I remember, what's his name? I can't remember the comedians. He's doing a stand-up gig, and it's like, I'm glad to be here. I live in Canada. I'm surrounded by French people and snow, so I'm really glad to be here.
So if Trump wins, Quebec secedes from the United States?
You can have them. I was wondering if you could explain a little bit about why we have Trudeau up here.
Oh, babyface. He's your babyface. He's there to occupy your women, to replace a prince and princess and a king and a queen. That's why. He's a babyface to be beat up on. Come on.
Yeah, his father Castro must be very proud of him. Have you seen photos of Castro and Trudeau? Yes. Like, wow. That's natural cloning right there.
Mm-hmm.
The conservatives love that up here. They play it all the time.
Yeah, Justin, I find, he wore socks at a press conference or a conference or something like that, and he had little penises all over them. Like, you're supposed to be a leader of the Western civilization, and you're wearing cocks on your socks. What the fuck, dude?
Cocks on your socks. Yeah,
exactly. Cock socks.
So this is exciting as our news gets up here. Is like, yeah, the socks will get featured. I think he was meeting with Ireland or something, and then they were like, "Oh, we're best buds. We're wearing the same socks."
So yeah, there's another reason Trudeau is there, and it's to protect the oil industry in Canada.
Are you serious?
He absolutely. He may be pro wilderness and all this stuff, but his real reason there is he's the negotiator between the oil companies and the swamp in the Washington, D.C.
That's interesting because he's considered to be the most useless prime minister when it comes to getting
Sure,
our oil industry.
Sure.
going.
But that is what they want you to think. That's why there's been OPEC has tried to do what Saudis have tried to do twice now, crash the oil market. Okay. He's still there to keep the infrastructure intact. So when economy gets going, it's just a big hiring frenzy again.
And it's amazing the strength of the oil industry because Trudeau's done blackface 5 times and he's still there.
It's amazing, isn't it? You see what how people can get canceled in the States, but he's done blackface 3 times.
Yeah. Roseanne Barr sends out one tweet which is not racist. It was a pop culture reference, and her show gets removed, and Trudeau's blackface 3 or 4 times. Oh, he's just mucking about.
Right.
Yeah. Did you see his Deo performance?
Yes, I did. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
And we still elected him.
Now, there's something else to know about Canada. Canada is an extension of the brain fart. Hold on, it'll pop to me in a sec. No, the military-industrial complex.
Oh, yeah.
So there are more secret facilities building parts and weapons all throughout Canada than you even want to know about. So the military-industrial complex is completely integrated with the entire Canadian military-industrial complex. They're one and the same. Now, Europeans' military-industrial complex doesn't have as many crossovers to America, but the big here is understanding the new F-35 fighter jet. There's significant pieces of their CPUs that are only made in Canada. Okay? Which are next-gen quantum computing CPUs.
It's interesting you bring it up because my dad was in the military, so I know quite a bit about this and how integrated.
How totally integrated, exactly.
Yes.
It has been like that since the 1940s. All right, pre-World War II.
Yeah,
totally integrated. Now the key is, where does the Canadian money coming from? We know who owns the American debt. Who's owning the Canadian debt?
Is it linked to the United Kingdom at all?
No, the Canadians are owning their own debt. They went on a debt buyback thing in the 70s.
Ooh, this is ours, eh? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Canada can call in its American debt and begin. It would be a secondary takeover with them. The Canadian military-industrial complex would then do hostile takeovers of the American industrial complex.
So I just had a thought. In one timeline, we'll end up with the United Provinces of North America.
Right.
Canada's
minus Quebec.
Oh, yeah.
Minus Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec's going to secede to France.
Not even the French want them.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you want to bring up what's happening in France and, oh, geez, someone's poured petrol or gasoline on that fire. It's an ex Prime Minister of Malaysia has said, people are allowed to kill the French because of all the massacres they did, and Twitter allowed this because it's all that Islamophobe. People are scared of Islam. So if you keep cutting off people's heads, kind of makes people kind of fearful there. Oh, but it's a cartoon. I'll grow up. Really, you can take the piss out of almost Jewish. I mean, stand-up comedies, back when it started in the mid-20th century, 80% of stand-up comics were Jewish. And if you've seen the Marvelous Miss Mavis or whatever her name, it's just all Jewish and stuff. But you can't make fun of Islam, and it's very easy to do that. But they just, a cartoon, let's kill them. Because that's an Enlightenment theory. You're the religion of peace, and you kill anyone that disagrees with you. I can see a flaw here.
It's interesting how Quebec, they actually banned all Muslim wearing hijabs and stuff. They circumvented the constitution here just to be a little bit racist in Quebec, which I always find that they always think that they're the exception to the rule, to the constitution here.
Well, I mean, this is the same people that puts maple syrup on cheese curd French fries.
Hey, it's delicious.
Have you tried it?
Yes, I have. I'd rather have the cheese curd French fries without the syrup on it.
I love, you got to have the syrup. We also put our ketchup chips sometimes on it.
I could do the ketchup on the cheese curds, but not the syrup too.
I have a problem with cheese curd because it rhymes with turd. So I'm like, what the hell is this?
Actually, I had a
Yes.
personal question if I could ask it.
Sure.
I'm going on a trip to Egypt next week, and I was just wondering if you had like any advice for me.
Don't.
Have you ever been there before?
No.
What kind of tour are you doing?
I organized a private tour myself because I've studied Egypt my whole life.
Okay, so first thing first, when you go to the museum, most people get haunted as fuck as soon as they walk through the door. When I went on my Egypt tour, we did 16 days trip of the Nile. It is haunted as fuck, the actual museum, and the ghosts will attach to you there. Prepare for the museum. Outside of that, the amount of tourism there has been greatly reduced. It used to be 20 million of people you're going through some of there. You're probably going to get some really cool backdoor access. Make sure you get to go everywhere and do everything and get that backdoor access. It's absolutely worth it. This time of the year, the heat will not be as bad when I went there. And make sure you don't drink the water. And you literally will see dead animals in the street everywhere. They treat their animals horrible there. Trash in the streets everywhere as if it were a fourth world country. Just get over it. And then the amount of beggars that will haunt you every step. Like if you walk out your hotel, a beggar's going to jump on you. Every time you go to a sacred site, there will be 30, 40, 50 beggars, little kids with bent up arms going, give me money for food. And they're all scammers, all right?
Good to know.
Also, I remember Andrew saying, like, with that Egypt trip that he went on, there were certain places he could feel the energy, and I'm not going fucking in there.
Nope, not going in there. Nope.
So I recommend if you start having that that 0 point feeling of like, don't go into that building, listen to it. So yeah, if you feel if it resonates of like, oh, I can look at this temple, go in there and enjoy and everything else like that. But if something of your being says no, listen to that. Don't don't tempt fate type thing.
Yeah, I've experienced that before.
Listen to that voice, but make sure you can go into every temple because there are some beautiful energies in some of those temples. And make sure you get to spend extra. Don't rush out if it's hot. Make sure you bring extra water. And when it comes to buying shit, absolutely haggle. Haggle. Listen, they will overcharge you 1,000%. So if they say this, cut it by 3/4. Haggle. It's your birthright over there. Okay.
Yeah. It's really hard as a Canadian to do that. We were way too nice about it.
You can haggle being nice. It's like, I would give you this for 10. Ooh, how about 2?
More like one.
Let's just go with 1 and then work from there. As long as you're be super Canadian about it. It's like, but the back of your mind is like, this motherfucker's going down.
Okay. Now, the food over there is very unique. Very, very unique. So if you get a chance, make sure you experience the varieties of food that are there. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I know so much about the ancient history, but I don't really know much about the modern. So I'm really excited to experience the modern culture.
And I know I talked about the trash in the streets. It's going to surprise you, literally, the mountains of trash in the streets. It really put me off to not want to go back, combined with the haunted ass demons that were everywhere. Okay.
Well, and their traffic is very interesting. Apparently, where
it's psychotic. You could be on
don't drive.
You could be on don't drive. You could be on an 8-lane highway, and a bunch of people just walk out into the freeway with a donkey. Okay.
So I recommend don't drive anywhere. Don't drive anywhere. Traffic lights are there for decoration, basically. Where 8 lanes, or it's supposed to be going, passing each other, but 8 lanes are all going one way.
Yeah.
And if someone wants to turn left, they do.
Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of like Greece, where everyone's stuck in such a traffic jam, and the ambulance is coming down, and like no one moves.
No. Egypt's 1,000 times worse.
Oh God.
When I mean 1,000 times worse. Okay.
That's good.
I had to put blinders on whenever we were on the bus driving. All right. I couldn't look left or right.
Is there any particular temple you think I should focus on? More time?
Do you know what your itinerary is like?
Yeah. Going to a Swan, Luxor, and then hitting up 3 of the temples of Sobek, Horus, and forget the other one in between.
Temple of Horus is amazing. Temple of Sobek is
Edfu,
amazing.
yeah.
All of those. Luxor, Karnak, make sure you spend extra time there. Some of the smaller, there was this temple on an island, I forgot the name of it.
Affiliate.
Outstanding. When you get into the Valley of the Kings, it's so fucking hot there, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And all of them are amazing. Trying to think, was there a disappointing temple? No, there wasn't. Though there were some really minor ones that we stopped at. And were they even disappointing? No, they were just minor temples. Okay.
And
Is there
if you wanna
anyone in
be-
particular? Sorry, is there anyone particular that you think would help me on my spiritual journey?
Luxor, Karnak.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you want to be really annoying, just bring up the Anunnaki every time.
Yeah.
Is this an Anunnaki? Is this Anunnaki? Is this Anunnaki? Will you shut up? No, it's just the Anunnaki.
Do you have a tour guide, a guide that's taking you all the way through?
Yeah, I made sure it was a private tour in a private car and everything,
Good,
so I didn't
good,
have to
good,
deal
good.
with any bullshit.
So when we were on our bus, we had armed security with us.
Yeah. On the way to Abu Simbel, it's armed.
No, we were armed the whole way through.
Oh, really?
From day one, there was an armed guard with us to the last day. Armed guards everywhere we went. Yes, and it's common there, and it's built into the infrastructure of tourism.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
kind of nice, I guess.
Well, no, a lot of it's not because of the terrorists; it's because of the beggars and the thieves.
Oh.
Okay? Yeah, the gypsies that are there.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you didn't have armed guards, they'd be stealing the shit out of everything. Because it's a giant mafia racket like there. Yeah.
Good to know.
All right, brother. Thanks a lot for
Thank you
calling
so
in.
much.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
So before we take a next caller, Monty, let's look at our document again and go over some of the stuff we missed. So we didn't go. The election goes just fine, and no interference, and somebody's wins.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's 3 million to 1.
Right. So off-world UFO interference. I know there's a lot of people are going, wait, when are the UFOs going to come? Well, maybe November 3rd, the Galactic Federation of Idiots might land one of their ships in the swamp.
Come out eating a burrito going, what's going on?
Yeah, what's going on? Okay. We've only put that 2,000 to 1 as opposed to the election goes just fine.
Yeah,
3 million
exactly,
to
yeah.
1. Okay.
Oh, yeah, and then you've got the write-in votes as well. That
Okay.
yeah.
And then
Kanye.
there's the solar flash happens.
Oh, yes. A little bit early. Yep.
Okay, as solar flash happens, and we all ascend to 5th dimension and get our 5D or 60 bus passes.
Yeah. That's going to be, I'm the only one going, I know why we get this.
Okay. Okay, and then there's an EMP attack. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
Biden has a heart attack on the day of the election. Okay, Trump
Someone forgets to
quits.
change the battery. Yeah.
Right. Trump quits, or Russian hackers stop the election.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, according to CNN, they did that last time.
Right. Okay. And then there's the American military has a full coup d'etat and takes over both the parties, and we have disclosure. Okay. And then there's the rest of the world laughs at us relentlessly.
Yeah, that's 1 to 1.
Yes. Okay. And then there's mass arrests happen, and all the FISA warrants are unsealed, and Q is named a new savior of humanity.
Yeah, and does that include Nasara, Gassara, and Passara
Yes,
and all
yes.
that? Yeah.
None of that's going to happen. Okay. COVID spikes high because of the elections. Quite possibly going to happen.
Yeah, which apparently a disease that takes 2 weeks to manifest is going to happen in 12 hours.
Right. So artificial intelligence reveals itself to the world, and Skynet tries to take over the world.
And we all become one to fight the machines.
Jesus comes back and goes, "What the fuck did you do? I didn't say half this shit." Godzilla crushes Washington, D.C. Jewish
Nice.
Messiah appears.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that will be a good one. Hello, what's going on? Sorry, I'm late.
Yes. And man, are those Jesuits going to be having an issue if he appears.
What are you doing? You're ruining our scam. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Darth Vader throws Henry Kissinger down the shaft.
Yeah. Guess who wrote that one, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes. Okay. Global coup d'etat and Vladimir Putin takes over.
Hello.
Yeah. China claims the American debt and moves in.
You pay your last payment bounce. We take over now. You're very bad.
Yes, you very bad. You owe us money now. Okay. China has a major market crash. Could happen. Okay. Massive cyber attack and the entire global internet crashes.
Yeah. Okay. Just very quickly, what will happen to humanity if someone turns the Wi-Fi off? Because like we're so not addicted, but we use the internet every day, and like even if TV, if there's that 3 days of darkness, I don't think people could handle two hours of darkness in that respect.
We'll stretch it to 4. Most people have experienced power outage or internet downage. 4 hours, then it's serious. No internet for 4 hours. Okay?
Yep. I think in one of the Doctor Who episodes, like the internet goes down and like the 2 teenage kids are like, what are we going to do? And then the mum says, we could have a conversation. And the disgust that the kids have. Like
Exactly.
actually sitting down and talking to the family.
Right. All right. The next one, Monty did this one. Hillary gives her acceptance speech and the clone fails.
Yeah, for the 2016 election.
Yes.
I can just imagine her coming
Yes.
out. I like to thank like, what the hell's you doing now?
Okay. The Swedish chef wins.
I like to think death camps.
Now, this one seems to be as a dark horse. COVID-19 wins the election.
We will have you all in your houses and you will wear masks.
Okay. Now, this next one. The Fly wins the election.
Yes, that the famous fly that landed on Pence, and people got in trouble. Like, they had a photo of Pence with the fly on it, and an SJW nut job. She's a feminist anyway, but she said like, "Oh look, Prince's only black friend," and then 10 minutes later, apologized for being racist.
Right.
Like, what?
Yeah, exactly. That Fly has a great chance of winning. CNN will support the Fly. Okay. The next one. Ron Paul wins in a write-in.
Yeah, I think that's more of hope from me and Andrew. It's like, who could actually, who should be president? And like, Ron Paul's quite good. I like Ron.
Yes. Definitely. We got it out at the Fed. Okay. The next one. Trump pardons himself twice.
Yeah. I pardon myself. I'm the best pardoner. It's going to be huge. No one else can pardon me like anyone.
That's why I'm pardoning myself twice. So I am the best pardoner.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one. United Kingdom invades US and the Queen takes back the colonies.
It's been too long, Andrew. It's been over 2.5 centuries, and that family keeps a grudge.
That's right. They do. 100-year war all over again.
I saw her on Facebook, and I think it was Twitter, and I borrowed it. I can't remember who actually came up with it. However, there was a story that Meghan Markle, who is married to Prince Harry, said she's thinking about running for president of the United States in the future. And someone had said, you got to thank King George III for the long game.
Exactly.
She's a royal. Can you imagine how that would break people's mentality of a member of the British royal family becomes the president of the United States?
Exactly. All right. The next one. QAnon's Q is revealed to be a 15-year-old Mexican hacker.
Hello.
Oh, can you imagine that?
Hey, man, I just did it for a bit. Well, you people are crazy,
I didn't know it would go this far.
I was so deep, I had to keep going.
Right. The next one. Pope excommunicates all of North America.
Yeah, which, see, that's believable as well.
Yes. Okay. So the next one. Nazis from the South Pole attack with their UFOs.
Because they're upset that Nazi has lost its meaning.
Right.
It's like, we are not like this. What are you doing?
They must reclaim their heritage. That damn paperclip, it diluted us.
That is our word, not your word, okay?
Yes.
Only we says this word.
Okay. The next one. Hollywood declares martial law and takes over.
Yeah. Yes, yeah, that was the sorry, yeah. Which, yeah, that's probably what they want to do, but can you imagine the catering?
Yes.
If that happened, there'll be
Yes.
trailers everywhere. Like, where's my publicist?
Right. And then the final one. Hollywood starts a civil war and actors get to the point that their stunt doubles take over.
Yeah. All right, men, we're heading in. Jerry, step in, thanks.
Exactly. So those are the things that we've had. So we're going to go here and take another caller here and see if somebody else has something to add to our election prediction show. Robert, spin up the spin up the wheel of election predictions and see who's next.
All righty. Lucian, I sent a message to you, but you're not unmuting.
Lucian.
Ah, there you go.
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey.
Where are you calling from?
So I'm calling from Netherlands right now, but I'm originally from Romania.
Netherlands from via Romania. What are your election predictions?
I don't have any predictions. I'm just actually I'm watching you from a very long time, and basically I'm resonate with your teachings, and I like to talk to you just a little bit around some subjects which are very sensitive around let's say the kind of background of humanity.
Well,
What's your
this show's not for that. This is an election prediction show. So call back in on another show.
I'm also in this topic as well, so I can
But it's a
also
comedy show.
Yeah, this is a comedy show. It's not a serious show.
now it's a comedy also. I'm also liking a comedy show.
Okay.
So
if we do talk about humanity's prehistory, we'll be taking the piss out of it.
Right.
We'll be making fun of it.
Yeah. We don't want to change the energy of the show that we've created here already.
Right.
I do find it funny how when you see Andrew's teachings where there isn't just one progenitor race, there's 72, and so it's funny when people say, "Oh, this is the history of humanity and it's our Earth history." It's like, yeah, that's one of 72. This is why it hurts our brain sometimes to figure out what the fuck's going on.
Right, but I think it's important to know that everything is bound in this moment right now, which is what I'm feeling that everything it's coming together in this point where it will be a split somehow.
No, it won't. All right, brother. Thanks a lot for calling in. We're going to move on to our next caller.
Okay, great.
All right. Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's going to be our last caller for the night.
Yeah, you better be funny.
Nate Ribbons.
Nate Ribbons, are you there? Going once, stubbing your toe, going twice. Next.
There we go.
You made it.
Yeah.
You made
I had
it.
like 9 buttons to unclick.
Yeah, feverishly with the thumbs.
Yes. Where are you calling from?
Another guy from Minneapolis.
Another Minneapolisan.
Because
So what are
nobody
your
knows where St. Paul is?
Yeah, nobody knows where St. Paul is. It's next to St. Joe.
Yeah, we're the crappy, boring version of Minneapolis.
All right. So what are your election predictions?
I don't really mess with prediction energy, but I can definitely predict that my life is still going to be a mess. But
You sound very quiet, by the way. Sorry to interrupt.
here, let me. I got an external mic. Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
There we go. Yeah, I don't have any like global predictions, but my life is still going to be a mess because I got a lot of work to do. So, anyway, that's maybe a little too dark. Was that?
No, it's awful boring what you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, so what's your prediction? My life will be exactly the same.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the same plate of shit to fucking clean up in front of me as I did before.
Well,
Everyone else is in
Oh,
there.
well, you won't have the distraction of the election, so it's back on you.
whenever you have a plate of shit, put some Parmesan cheese on it, and put it on some bread, and then you have a plate of shit on some bread with cheese. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Wait. I got one question.
All right.
Kind of serious, but might have a funny answer. Should we vote?
Oh, we sort of touched on this before, but
And could you go into the dynamics of that? I can
No.
that
what I've said previously, Al voting as energy harvesting your vote means nothing, period. But if you're really bent on voting, take a big dump in a toilet, take a picture of it, and send that in as your vote.
Oh, I'm not voting. No, I'm.
But a pile of shit is still your vote.
I'm pissed. I'm pissing my parents off by not voting. So that's my
Good.
in this
Vote turd.
What I've been saying on my radio, 2 a.m. Wednesdays on Revolution Radio called Planet Collingwood Open Round Table, check it, is whatever your inner self, what resonates. If you're to do vote, but most because you have the freedom of not voting, do that because it's between as South Park, it's a douche and a shitburger, Orange Man or Mr. Magoo, and it's even from the Matrix, it's a false choice.
Okay. Would you rather drink douche water or a pile of shit sandwich?
Yeah, or you could go home and make a salad.
Toss that
Right,
salad.
it's
Toss
the
that
right-
salad.
Hey, that's not prison jargon, is it?
Like, do you want to get raped by the Orion Dracos or by the Syrian Anunnaki? It's kind of like take your pick.
Or you can tap into your prime creator spark and become
Where's
everything.
Yes, exactly.
Where's Poppy?
Hi,
You're looking over
Hi,
here.
Robert.
Where's me?
Hi, Robert.
Oh, hi there. Let me let me mute while I say goodnight to my daughter.
Okay, and now we return to the life of Robert.
All right. Nate, thanks a lot for calling in.
Thanks, Andrew.
All right.
Thank you.
Monty, we have done our first election prediction show.
Yes.
And a little bit more than 1, 2, 3, 4 days from now, we will be having the mainstream media extravaganza of political rhetoric and politics telling us what they want us to believe.
Yeah, but it's also a weekend, so don't watch that shit.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Monday and Tuesday, yeah.
So between now and Tuesday, do you have any off-the-wall things that might happen to alter the election?
Yeah, just type into the chat.
No, I'm asking you. Ha ha ha.
Oh, right. I don't know. Like it's 2020. I'll be surprised if nothing does happen. Because everything, it's just like blue moon. It's a full moon. It's Halloween and all the energies and just blah blah blah, and just let Joe Biden talk because like just the shit that he comes out of his mouth. I'm just ignoring all of it really because I think the one thing we can get out of this, there's going to be an element of relief. Now, obviously, there's going to be that shitstorm of figuring out the decision, the outcome of it. But we're so close. We're 4 days away from this stupid fucking election. And then once we have the decision from the election, we kind of can move on with our fucking lives.
Sort of.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Sort of.
But that massive distraction is going to slowly disappear or be, the powers that be may change it. But at least it's, as you said, it's the end of an episode. And so it'll be interesting to see what the other episode, because you know sometimes TV shows when they go from one season to the other, the writing gets crap. I'm hoping for that, where it's like, all right, because this sitcom's not that funny, and next season it could be we'll do a rom-com, and they're like,
Right. So my prediction between now and Tuesday of what might happen, I'm simply going to say we might have some news reporters similar to Glenn Greenwald, et cetera, that might attempt to drop a bomb, and they may end up having a bomb in their car.
well, see,
Okay.
yeah, because it's exposing certain things. Like, are they going to keep putting up with this shit as well? Where I'm just wondering, will there be justice? Because the way, like, the fallout from the election, where big tech, freedom, and you can do anything you want, but you meddle with the election by banning the New York Post. Stuff like, it's so in your face. It's like a big elephant with an erect penis walking up to your nose and being this close. It's like, it's not the elephant in the room; it's the elephant in your face. And it's waving its genitals in your. At some point, you kind of have to do something. For starters, how did an elephant get into your house? But
right. So with that note, we're going to call it an end to today's show. Monty, giveaway for people to get a hold of you.
My YouTube channel is Wafer Thin Entertainment. I am on Facebook as just Monty Dean, on Instagram, Monty.Dean, and on Twitter @Real Monty Dean. That is a battlefield, but beware if you go onto Twitter. It's still funny as hell because you just see people lose their collective minds. And if you're in that observing state, it's quite funny. And you're like, really?
Yeah. And you all know who I am. We will be back this coming Tuesday for our normal 12 noon EST time show, in which I will be with Miss Lady Martina, exploring consciousness, talking about the potentialities of the universe, and maybe a little bit about the election. We will be back this coming Thursday also for Adventures Reality Call-In show. And Friday, once again, Monty Dean will be back as we have back-to-back Friday comedy shows. All right, everybody, have a great night. And Robert, take us away.
Have fun, everyone.
Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge, it's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence. Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important? Because we do manifest our reality. We do create our reality.